Hey guys, welcome back to Making It. Today we're gonna be cooking up some steaks on the Traeger flat top. Outside, we got some cranberries, some herbs. We're gonna be making a cranberry chimichurri. Just a really nice kind of salty fat. Cranberries bring a tart, but fruity. Surprisingly very refreshing little snap to a classic chimichurri and steak. All right, so before we get into our cooking, let's do our little shrine, little ingredient shrine. Respect to the paint for us to paint with. We got the lovely Lord of Death and all the classics, the usuals. We have a couple new things that I found out when I went grouse hunting out in Minnesota, and I found these like little quartzy rocks. You know, it's something I do sometimes. I just pick up rocks. And these weird little mushrooms that were growing on the trees, and I just kind of popped them off, dried them on the thing here. We got some new candles. Look, we got a little quahog clam from Annie's Crannies up in Cape Cod, little candle. So, you know, we're getting a lot of stuff. It's getting, some may say, a little cluttery.
The house is not big enough for everything that is currently in it.
But I really like it. You know, it's my thing. And maybe we'll do a one in, one out policy. Or maybe we'll build another shrine, or I'll get some shelves somewhere and we'll just, you know, let the walls close in with all little tchotchkes. Because who doesn't love a tchotchke? Especially when it's cool, man, you know? I like collecting stuff. Megalodon. If you don't like megalodon teeth, sorry. Let's face it, I should probably just make a little show and tell show. Isn't that kind of what this is? Anyway, Brad, let's get shiny, all right? Get the crystals back over there, get the energy vibes back alive. Right out of the gate, this is great. We got steak, we got boneless beef ribeyes, salted last night on a little rack, uncovered. Let that moisture wick off, let that seasoning penetrate into the meat, nice, delicious. And then I got the nice little lamb loin chops, like the little lamb, you know, like the little T-bones, right? You got the little, it's wonderful. It's one of my favorite little cuts. And then for the sauce, it's gonna be like a riff on like what I'm calling cranberry chimichurri, all right? And it just consists of some beautiful parsley. Garlic, I'm gonna do it raw in the food processor. And then we got our shallot. That's gonna be like our little bit more of a mild onion. I'll probably only use maybe half of this. We'll see how it goes. I like to add a little bit of rosemary, oregano, and like a couple leaves of sage. Just very aromatic, wonderful kind of Christmas celebration cooking steaks. It's one of my favorite profiles to go with the big green of the flat parsley. Olive oil, lots of it. We're gonna use a decent amount. A little lemon. I'm like Uncle Rico, dude. Bet you I'll throw this lemon over the mountains. We'll finish the steak with some butter. And then the secret ingredient, the thing I've been really stoked about ever since I went up to Cape Cod. And these are just beautiful. It's the best cranberries I ever had. And I was like, why not put them into like a chimichurri sauce? Put on steak or fish or whatever. Look for some dry harvest ones because they're just phenomenal as opposed to just like the wet where they flood the bog. We'll go down that rabbit hole. Check out another video, Local Legends, Annie's Crannies. But today, we're gonna be using it to add a nice little bright, crisp tartness to our chimichurri sauce. Enough yapping, let's get cooking, huh? Oh, and look at this, little honey bear. Look at him, gnawing on the hide. Getting stung in the eyeballs, he don't care. I wouldn't mind being a bear. Good talk, Brad, good talk. Before we start grilling up that steak, I'll preheat the flat top. I like to put it on a little medium high, 20, 30 minutes, let it get that cast iron real nice and hot. Give us a really good char, really good sear, what I'm looking for on that steak. But before we do that, let's make our little cranberry chimichurri. So we'll start with a little food processor. I love this one, simple, gets the job done. And basically we're just gonna be adding some garlic, some herbs, the shallot, cranberries, the parsley, lots of olive oil, lemon juice, salt. Nice, easy, simple, good on everything, good on chicken, fish, steak, vegetables, sweet potatoes, squash, rice, scrambled eggs, oatmeal. Actually, probably would be pretty good with oatmeal, to be honest. Anyway, Brad, enough yapping, more cooking. So we'll start with, let's say, that's about a half a cup of cranberries. 20 cranberries, all right? And then we're gonna pick all the little tender. I'll try to pick most of the big stems off. I don't mind little tender little stems on the parsley. So let's get that packed in there nice. What you wanna do is just pull the big old tree trunkers off, the little tender nibbins. That's what we're looking for. I had started with 2 bunches of parsley, cut the stems off, got a little bit of the tender stems in there, no big deal. I got 1 clove of garlic, raw, put that right in there. And I'm gonna put just half of this shallot. It's a lot, it's a lot. I'm not gonna do it yet. I'm gonna do it at the end a little bit, but don't let me forget that. Don't let me forget that. So 2 bunches of parsley. I still got a little bit left. And then we're gonna do some olive oil. I'm gonna start with a cup, easy. I don't even know how much I'm gonna put in, so just pay attention. So we'll start with like a cup, maybe a little bit more. Should've just measured it. Okay, that's a solid cup, maybe a little more than a cup and a half. cup and a quarter, whatever. What was it, 9 seconds? Put 9 seconds. Oh, it was not 2 cups. Making the ghost said it wasn't 2 cups either. Let's start with that. That was probably about 1.5 cups of oil, maybe a little less. See what happens. Oh yeah, let's get that a little bop, 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 little blitzy schmitzy there. Blitzy splitzy is not a, that's not a saying. I want the parsley to be really nice and fine and broken down, and then I'll add more cranberry accordingly, so it doesn't just turn into like a cranberry paste. All right, so overall, I probably got about close to 2 cups of olive oil, 1.5 cups right now, maybe close to 2. 2 bunches of parsley. I added 1/2 cup of the cranberry that I want to break down into a paste thoroughly. I'll start to filter more in. I'll probably do about 2 cups of cranberries, but I want some to be a little chunkier, a little thicker. I don't want them to just break down. Keep some of that nice tart crunch that you get from the fresh cranberry. Also gonna add the juice of 1/2 lemon. Beautiful. Oh, juicy one, good. So the juice of 1/2 of a juicy lemon. So that was probably 1/4 cup, 2.5, 3 tablespoons anyway. Also going to add a little bit of fresh oregano, about 1 sprig. Take the leaves off there, nice. Maybe 1 1/4 sprigs. So I would say, for all you measuring folks out there, a tablespoon of lightly picked oregano leaves. Fresh. And then some, I'm gonna do some rosemary, wild. All right, nice little healthy sprig. I'm just gonna strip it off, and we're gonna let that break down there and get, that's a lot. We'll stop there. But a nice 4 inches, stripped and in, delish. And we're gonna add a little sage. We'll do, let's say 4, or a little pinch of leaves. Nothing crazy, just little hints of seasonality. And it just goes so well with seared meat, in my opinion. Also gonna add a little bit of rice vinegar. Let's start with a tablespoon. Okay, we're gonna do a nice healthy pinch of Jerry kosher salt. So that was, we'll put about what? About that much in. I'd say what, I don't know, a tablespoon? Shallots, not yet. Let's get that going into a nice little mouchade. I don't know. Like I said, it's not like a classic chimichurri, but it's just inspired by. I don't know. Do they have cranberries in Argentina? Probably not. Chimichurri's from Argentina, I think, right?
Check out the big brain on bread.
Some more cranberries. I added another what's that? Cup of cranberries. We'll give that a little brr, brr, see what it looks like, see what it does. Gonna add the shallot. I don't know. Let's add more cranberry. Heck yeah, I wanna go big with the cran. So let's think. We're gonna add about 3-4 cups of cranberries. 4 cups, let's do 4 cups. What are we talking about? 'Tis the season, baby. All right, here we go, fire in hole. All right, now, let me wash my hands, we're gonna give it a little taste. Cigarette. See what it's all about. Beautiful color and texture. It looks like a little Christmas on a spoon. Spruce tips for earplugs.
What? What?
Let's give it a little taste. Check for salt. Oh yeah, this is really good. Pinch of salt, little black pepper, acid's great. I might even add a little bit of maple syrup, just a little scotchy. That's great. What'd I say? Pinch of salt, little black pepper. Well, we're cooking now, baby. That much black pepper. No, that much. I love maple syrup. I'm like Will Ferrell in the Elf. I love it. It's perfect. Oh my God. Oop. 3/4 of a tablespoon maple syrup. Anyway, if you can't get cranberries, use nuts, use dried cranberries, use dried cherries, use whatever cool, red, fun, snappy, tart, poppy thing that you got in your area. Delicious sauce, enough about that. Let me give this a little pop. Perfect. All right, so I got our sauce. I put it in a little bowl here. You can make this ahead of time, day or 2 even. It works out great. Also great, right at room temperature. We'll kick that to the side. I got our steaks, my little herb kit, some butter. All right, set yourself up for success. We got the flat top outside. Meet you out there, let's go. I'll get the door. So we're outside, I got the flat top preheated. I turn it on the high for about 20 minutes. It's gonna give us that nice sear, that residual heat that's gonna, perfect. Like a cast iron pan, but thicker. Outdoors, we got that wind, which is, The nice little double-edged sword to that. Nature's ventilation, see you later smoke. But I like cooking outside, sear and stuff, whether it's fish, steak. I like to do it outside. You can't beat the flat top, especially if you're having people over cooking for a lot of folks, which I do here often. You can load that thing up and you're like Diner Dennis. You're just throwing food to everybody. 75 hot dogs, whatever. Today we're gonna cook up some steaks. New York strip, all right, about 1.5 inches. This one's a little thinner. I like to start with the fat cap down. Let it render, let it start to cook in its own fat. I'll do both of them, right? Right down like that. Beautiful. If the bone was in, like the lamb is, if it was a bone-in ribeye, I like to heat the bone up. Let that internal spot, which is gonna take the longest to cook, and have it be the most consistent, and that'll act as a little bit of a heat source to the inside of the meat. And then I'll flip it and do the fat cap. A little smoky, Jesus Christ. Ah! You get that fat render and get a nice little sizzle on there. Always sear your fat. You want it to render, to cook your stuff in, but also it's better to eat that way. Yeah, beautiful. And then we'll hit them flat down, right in its own fat. I like to just give it a little press, just to make sure you're getting some nice, even consistency on that hot cast iron. You're gonna be able to get a nice crust consistently and thoroughly throughout the whole surface area of that steak. Salting it ahead of time is gonna get all the moisture that's naturally in that meat out. And that's, again, instead of deglazing the crust with its own steam, we're just gonna caramelize, crisp, delicious. Finish it in the cast iron. We got our herbs. I'm just gonna add a little bit of butter, some sliced thin shallot, and some garlic. Let that start to melt and sweat out a little bit. Some rosemary, some oregano, just bruise it up. Just let it get nice and nice in there, all right? I add black pepper at the end because I don't like when it sears all the time and it burns. I mean, it's not bad, but it gets a little pungent. So I got my beef cooked. It's sitting in the butter with the herbs, the garlic, the shallots that I caramelized. I have the lamb with the bone in. That tends to take a little bit longer, more than you usually think sometimes, even though it's such a small spot. I'll finish those in the butter as well. You know, we got the little sage, little extra butter when it's in the cast iron. And then I got a little nice mobile extension of the Traeger to kind of go inside with. Beautiful. Bring them inside, let them rest for about 10 minutes, and we'll slice it up and have a little lunch. We got that cranberry chimichurri. I'm stoked. It's gonna go great with that nice little salty, nice crunch on that steak. I'm starving. Let's go inside. So we've been resting for about 10 minutes. Cast iron is not ice cold, but it's nice and warm. All right, we're beautiful. We got the juices in there. Beautiful. Let's check it out. We'll slice it up, and I can't wait to try it with that nice, tangy, bright cranberry chimichurri. Let's see what the steaks look like. All right, so we got that first boneless ribeye. Beautiful. All right, nice little, look at that, nice little temperature on it. Looking gorgeous. Beautiful. That's how I like my steak. And then we got the little lamb loin chop. I like to cut it off the bone like you would like a porterhouse, like a beef porterhouse, same cut. You got that little piece of filet on the one side. And then you got your like New York strip, I believe, right there. Even the bones, good nibbling. That's the little filet of lamb. Watch, I'll cut it this way. Just gorgeous. Really clean stuff. I don't go crazy with my knife all the time down in the bones, because I mean, when you heat up that bone, look, it's not raw in there at all. That's good. That's good nibbles right there. So what I like to do right before I plate it, before we put the chimichurri on, is I like to put that pan right back on the oven just for a second on the stovetop, get that butter nice and melted again, and pour it just to get a little, like, you know, that's nice aromatic. It's got the garlic, it's got the shallots, it's got all the herbs, the butter. Just get it involved on there. Why not? And then we'll hit it with the chimi. Again, I'm excited about this. From the beef to the lamb, you know, you got that nice little grassy olive oil, that big tart kind of brightness, juicy refreshingness from the cranberry. Yeah, it's kind of just a classic. Oh, put that in front of me any day. The lamb is gonna be the star. It wants all that rosemary and cranberries. It just seems right. I'm gonna start with the lamb. Get some of that olive oil. Oh my God, that's amazing. Fresh vegetalness from the olive oil, that bright, crispy. Oh, it's like a mystery. You don't even quite know what was happening. You forget it's cranberry. It reminds you that it's a berry, right? It's like this very tart, but also very sweet. Nothing quite like it. It might be the best steak sauce I've ever made in my life. I gotta try the beef. You guys gotta try this. Look at that. Look at that. I'm gonna hit it with a little more chimichurri, little cran. I gotta come up with a fun name. Oh God. That is phenomenal. I love how tart and refreshing and just kind of unique that cranberry element to the chimichurri is. And steak cooked perfect, man. I love that little putting the cast iron out there as your resting tray. Melt your butter. All the juices collect and stay in that pan so you can heat them up and drizzle them over the steak later. Mwah. Thank you to Traeger for making the best flat top ever. My favorite thing to cook on in the outdoors, if I could put it in here and replace this, I would. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Actually, Traeger, make one where that is, all right, Traeger, new idea. Make one like the flat top outside with like one little induction burner, and then underneath it is a full-on oven for inside. A giant flat top on the inside, like I was a diner, I would crush. Woo! Call your mom, thank you guys. Cook more steak and try to get the best you can, all right? Grass-fed, a little grain finish, wild game lamb. Eat more lamb, all right? That's the ending of this. Eat more lamb, cook it on the Traeger, we love you. Let's go, boys. Plates, lunchtime. Wrap. Let me make Bobby a little beauty. Mother of God. Get in here, boys.